This pandemic has hit us hard, but Tennesseans don't stay down for long. We're known for our resilience, and we refuse to back down from a challenge. This challenge is no different. You might be out of work, but there's an opportunity waiting for you. We need you to roll up your sleeves and join our workforce. Right now, thousands of jobs are ready to be filled. Find them at jobsfortn.gov. Let's get to work, Tennessee.
I watch y'all coming here for years, because you shot somebody. Now your life is shot. You gonna pick that phone up one day, and that girl gonna be done dumped you and raise your child with another man. Or maybe your mama or your grandmama dies. Because ain't nothing you can do about it. You got 15 to 20 years, state or fed time. Real talk. Don't lose your head, use your head, man. Gun crime, max time.
We Tennesseans all have a choice to make in our fight against COVID-19.
I choose to enjoy live music.
I choose to cheer on my team.
I choose to go out.
I choose to stay healthy.
I choose to celebrate with my family.
The choice is simple. Choose to live your life and choose to live responsibly. Face it, masks fight COVID-19.
It's not about challenging times
or new normals.
It's about staying true to what matters most.
And we're more committed than ever to your health.
Your safety has always been our top priority.
Times may have changed,
but they haven't changed who we are.
We're here for you every single day.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour. It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around.
Didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I want you to hang on, okay? Cover your hands, okay? You all right now? You need an ambulance now.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Pedestrian safety is a two-way street. Both drivers and walkers need to do their part to keep roads safe. When you're walking, remember, the drivers may not always see you, so remember to use these tips to continue to walk safely. Wear bright clothes. Always use crosswalks and obey signs. Lights and reflectors should be used. And finally, keep alert and do not walk distracted. This message brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Patrol.
and good morning again, and welcome to Talk Back Live in the morning. It is now 11:04, 4 minutes past the hour of 11 o'clock Central Time, and a very pleasant good morning to you on a Thursday morning. Yes, a lovely, wonderful Thursday morning, and I tell you what, a beautiful day on the outside, and we've got a great show lined up for you today. Hot topics of discussion, news that you could use, local, national, international. And the number to call is 901-213-6020. Again, the number to call is 901-213-6020. And we'll have topics later on in the show, and also a special guest coming up is on the line right now. We'll be talking to, and you don't want to miss this, folks. You want to stick around for this right off on our morning show this morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, everybody out there watching, listening, wherever you may be, however you may be checking us out this morning into the afternoon, into noontime, that is. So shout out to everybody that's checking us out on Periscope, on Facebook, and YouTube, which we are currently live right now.
Right.
People are still chiming in and loading their way in, so definitely shout out to y'all. Those that are you that are on right now, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We got a lot of y'all that already have, but you can continue to do so. Also, if you enjoy what we do, go ahead and hit that share button as well, so you can get other folks to join in on the conversations that we have here on Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. Great show we got lined up for you this morning, and we're going to kick it right off here in just a minute with our special guest. And some of y'all may have seen the stuff that we put out there over the past couple of days, really since yesterday, to put out about our special guest who will be joining us in just a minute to talk about the revival of Memphis Championship Wrestling in this area. So I'm very excited to talk about that, man. So I guess we can go ahead and get it on.
I tell you what, let's get it on.
All right. Let's do it.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, hey, there's some big things happening in Memphis, Tennessee right now with Memphis Championship Wrestling, and our special guest on the phone right now. We're glad to have him on, and he's going to tell us all about this, and he has a lot to do with this. And ladies and gentlemen, we're glad to have him, Dustin Starr. Dustin, welcome to Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh.
Bob, Josh, it's been too long, man. Thanks for the invite. You know, I always love talking wrestling, especially Memphis wrestling. Oh, yeah. What's up, guys?
Hey,
what's good, man?
What's going on? I tell you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Definitely good to talk to you again, man. I'm thinking the last time we talked, we were actually announcing your matches down in South Haven back in the day, man. So definitely glad to have you back on. And I'm gonna just kick it off with this. When did you first realize that you had an opportunity to bring TV weekly wrestling back to the local area? Because this is actually something we've talked about, because we've had you on the show several times throughout the years. And a lot of people have said, you know, even different guys we've talked to in the area that have been on TV, you know, even from Bill Dundee, who we've talked to in the past, never really thought it would actually get a chance to happen again. But here we are. Kind of talk about how did this opportunity even present itself?
Well, I mean, the opportunity really didn't present itself. We had to kind of make the opportunity, to be honest with you. So I would say about 3 years ago when so we'll start 4 years ago. Myself and Maria, we started working with CW30. So we host the CW30 network. We're on twice an hour, every hour, doing commercials, everything from Jerry Springer to court shows to Dynasty. I mean, I'm actually interviewing Superman and Lois tomorrow for CW30, so I'm fired up about that. But yeah, it's like bucket list. I get to talk to Superman. But anyways, the CW30, once we started there, one of the first questions the general manager had asked is, why is there not wrestling on in Memphis? And I kind of looked over my shoulder like, why are you asking me? You're the TV guy. You tell me. He's like, no, you're the wrestling guy. You tell me. It's like, all right, well, let's figure this out. Yeah. And so from that point, we started working closely with David Marquez out in Hollywood, where they have Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And so it was basically a proof of concept where if we put wrestling on television in Memphis, will Memphians watch it? And so we syndicated the Hollywood product out here for about 2 years, and people watched it. And so from there, I knew instantly that once we had wrestling on television, on CW30 in Memphis, that people would watch it, because that's just Memphis. We watch professional wrestling, whether it's WWE, AEW, Memphis, whatever. And so we never called it Memphis Wrestling because it was a syndicated show that was hosted locally by myself and Maria. So I would say, to answer your question, probably about 3 years ago, I knew that it was going to be a realistic option. Just we had to make it happen. And it was supposed to happen in 2020 in April. We were going to do it at AutoZone Park, would be our first big Memphis Wrestling television taping. And of course, with COVID, it got postponed and then canceled. And then we knew we were going to do it. I think it was a surprise to a lot of people, because a lot of people talk about it and don't follow through or can't follow through. But fortunately, the plan that we kind of laid out has worked. And people of Memphis and Memphis wrestling fans, they like it. And people all over the world watch us every week on YouTube. So if you missed any of the episodes or have no idea what Memphis wrestling we're talking about, you can go and watch any of the episodes in full, absolutely free. That's youtube.com/championship wrestling. And we have our live television tapings once or twice a month here in Memphis. So we built our brand new Wrestle Center that we're filming all of our wrestling out of and doing special events. And the next one is coming up on Sunday. And guys, we have Dave Brown making his return to Memphis Wrestling on Sunday.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, there are a couple of tickets still available. So championshipwrestlingmemphis.com, of course, they're all limited tickets, and they're very reasonably priced, as low as $5. I think the highest ticketed price ringside is $15. And then you also have an option for a VIP experience with Dave Brown. But the last 3 years have been a ride, man. Things change every single day, and it took us a minute, but Memphis Wrestling is back.
Amazing. That's an incredible journey, man. And how surreal is it to be on this side of things, with kind of being behind the scenes, and then being the voice. I mean, you are the voice of Memphis Wrestling now, being the head announcer with yourself and Maria. Did you ever see yourself doing this? Because I know, of course, being a wrestling fan, coming up and everything, and even being on TV yourself back in the Corey Macklin days and Power Pro, and even in wrestling and all that. How do you feel about being on the side you're on right now?
It's actually a little bit strange. I'm not really used to it yet. Like you saying, Dustin, you're the voice of Memphis Wrestling. I don't feel like that. I feel like, Lance and Dave. That's what I always think of. I haven't really gotten comfortable in that. I'm comfortable in that spot, but I guess I'm not. I'm less comfortable with people saying that, because I don't really. I never really thought that would be a thing, And even starting out or working with Corey Macklin and all the stuff that I learned throughout the years, I never thought that I would be putting it to use in this capacity. And a little funny story is myself and King Cobra have worked very closely together on this project. I mean, he was sweeping and mopping floors at 11 o'clock at night here last week, just getting the Wrestle Center ready. We've been in there just grinding. But we were at Top's Barbecue having lunch, and somebody came up and recognized us and was talking wrestling, and there was somebody there that was familiar with Cobra, and Cobra turned around and said, "Hey, let me introduce you to Dustin Starr. He's the new Memphis Wrestling promoter." And I it was like kind of like a cold slap in the face. Like, wait a second, what did you just call me? That was the first time that anybody had called me or introduced me as Memphis wrestling promoter, and I thought, wow, okay, I never even realized it. So yeah, it's definitely been a transition, and it's definitely been a lot of fun, and you know, being responsible for not only calling the action but helping put it together and all that stuff. I never in a million years thought that I would be on this side to this capacity. And I did think, it did cross my mind back in Corey Macklin's wrestling days. There was a real brief opportunity where I might have been given the chance to do some broadcasting with him. And for some reason, I think somebody else ended up doing it or something that didn't make sense at the time. But I thought, wow, that'd be kind of fun. Never thought that I would be doing that. And then, of course, later, I'd rather do that than actually wrestle, I feel like now, because it is a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah, I would actually rather do that than to actually be in the ring. Now, don't get me wrong. I do love being in the ring. I wouldn't be doing any of this if I hadn't wrestled. But at this stage in my career, I feel like that my longevity in wrestling is not inside the ring, that it would be outside the ring, because you could literally broadcast forever.
Definitely. Right. Yeah.
You only have a certain window, and then you're done. You only have a certain amount of bumps on your bump card inside the ring.
Absolutely.
So
and
it's definitely been different.
So, and that's kind of what I was going to ask too. I know Bob has some questions too, but do you see yourself, you know, throwing the headsets off one night and just jumping in there and beating up on Derek one day or somebody else?
Oh man, come on, guys! You guys you've watched Memphis wrestling long enough to know that somebody's gonna run their mouth. I'm gonna have to tear this suit coat off and go in there and whoop somebody. So I won't give you any spoilers, but I will give you a little teaser.
Okay.
That pay attention to the show coming up, because old Dustin Starr will be in the ring sooner than later.
Oh.
That's all I'll say.
Okay.
All right.
So to answer your question, oh yeah. I gotta, man.
Oh, of course, no doubt.
Yeah, you know, thinking about still, hey, you still got it. You're young, and will he be able to just sit on the sidelines and
see all his action
going on without having that burning desire to jump up in there to do something or something, you know? So this is
Now, I will say that my job there is to host the show alongside Maria.
Right.
Which people love Maria's commentary a lot more than they love mine. I think she makes them laugh.
Definitely.
But
yeah.
That's my job, is to host the show. So you won't see me in the ring full time or anything like that, but you'll definitely see some of the stories weave around the desk, and that's where all the drama goes down there, is at the desk. So I can only imagine something will happen at some point. And you'll see me back in the ring pretty soon. And I get asked all the time, literally every day, you know, hey, when are you going to wrestle in Memphis? And it's not like, you know, don't tell me Jonesboro, don't tell me New Bern or anything like that. When are you going to be in Memphis wrestling?
Yeah.
And so now that will come up very soon. It'll all happen at the Wrestling Center.
All right. Now,
awesome.
Now talk to us about this new thing that's going on, and we got a big event coming up very soon. Talk to us about this championship wrestling. I mean, what I guess I'm trying to fill my question here. How did I don't even know the question I want to ask right now, but
I know it's so many things to talk about. But
you got this wrestling thing, you know, you started and talk to us about it. It's just
well, the thing that we're doing, the questions I get all the time is, why aren't you using the Southern Heavyweight title? Well, we have the Memphis Heritage title. Southern Heavyweight title was not ours. That was something that's in the history of Memphis, and we pay homage and respect and tribute to that title. So that's how the Heritage title came about. People ask, why don't you use the old theme song? Well, it's not the same show. It's a new show. It's a new show based off the history and heritage of Memphis wrestling. You know, so all those different things that we've seen in the past with Memphis wrestling, you might get a little bit of a flavor or a flair of that on our show. For instance, King Cobra. Yeah. Jerry Jarrett appears on the show, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday.
Okay.
Pete Pranica with the Memphis Grizzlies. He's going to do some play-by-play with us on the 29th.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So and then of course Dave is coming up as well. And we're sprinkling a little bit of that classic Memphis wrestling pixie dust on top of the future and the current product of Memphis Wrestling, which is in very good hands with guys like Derek King and Alan Steele and Big Swole Justin Cole and the Crowleys. You've got the Young Goats, the Posse. I mean, the list goes on and on of good upcoming talent. But then also, they're not new. So like the Gun Show, Brett Michaels has been in the business over 20 years. But Memphis Wrestling on TV has been gone for 15 years. So he's never really had a platform to perform in front of the Memphis Wrestling fans or to perform in front of a television audience until now. And just recently this weekend, the Young Goats and Brett Michaels flew out to Hollywood, California with me to partake in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. So there's going to be big opportunities that open up with this new Memphis Wrestling. But that's the thing is we're not the old show coming back.
Yeah,
we're a brand new show that's based off the tradition and history of Memphis Wrestling. And I wanted to just clear that up, that we're a brand new show.
Definitely.
We're not USWA. We're Championship Wrestling from Memphis. And what we did is once we launched at the top of the line banquet hall, which was not the perfect place to do wrestling. The ceilings were low and all that stuff. But we're very appreciative of that opportunity, because what that did is it proved another concept to us, that we need our own facility.
Yes. Right.
And we found a 6,000 square foot facility that we remodeled and redecorated. We've got a lobby.
That's what I want to talk about right there. Yeah.
The Wrestle Center.
Yeah. We've got a lobby. We have a meet and greet area. Tops Barbecue has a mini restaurant set up inside the facility where you can eat Tops while you watch wrestling. And then, of course, we have the studio to where, I mean, it's painted from head to toe, all brand new. Wait till you see. If you haven't seen the inside of it yet, you can come check it out live on Sunday at 2 p.m. Tickets are at championshipwrestlingmemphis.com. If not, you can watch the re-premiere on May 22nd, which is not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. And it's just it's bright, it's vibrant. It's something that Memphis has never, ever had before, because typically our Memphis Wrestling was recorded in a studio studio with curtains and a desk.
Yeah.
And now we've got our own studio.
Facility. Yeah, that is
that's awesome.
Where is that located? Give that.
It is at 3296 Winbrook. So it's near the airport. And of course, during the week, we're doing our training session. So head coach King Cobra, Alan Steele, Derek King, myself, and of course, some of the stars of Memphis Wrestling are getting their ring time in there. But we've got new students that started last night. If you want more information on that, it's championshipwrestlingmemphis.com/training. And we're still enrolling. So we actually toured yesterday a kid that's 228 pounds. He's about 6'3", 17 years old, and he is going for the state championship in amateur wrestling this year.
Okay.
So there are athletes all over Memphis that are probably just chomping at the bit to have a training center. I know he was, and he got in the ring yesterday, and you could see the smile on his face through his mask. That's how big he was smiling. So, but yeah, man, we built it, and it was built by the wrestlers, for the wrestlers, and for the Memphis Wrestling fans. We're really excited about the venue.
Yeah. And this is amazing, because I think this is something that's been needed for a long time. I mean, I remember as being, a boy myself, watching Corey Macklin's, Memphis Wrestling. But one thing I liked about that, and I got an opportunity for my dad to tell me about the history going back even further, But, my dad was a fan back in, 60s, 70s, 80s Memphis Wrestling and all that. And seeing the mix at that time.
Don't give my age away.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying. But
No,
but to see that, and at the time, young guys, like Johnny Dodson and yourself, and I remember seeing Kevin White and guys like that. You got the opportunity to see them get shined. Too Cool too. I remember watching them too. I don't know what happened to them, by the way. But all that
I talked to them a couple weeks ago, actually.
Really?
I just got off the phone with them a couple weeks ago, because one of the things that we all remember about Corey Macklin's Memphis Wrestling was Too Cool too.
Yeah.
So how fun would it be to have those guys back, even if it was for a week? A nostalgia type of thing.
Right.
So,
definitely. Yeah. So, but what I like about what you're doing is the focus on the young talent, new talent, bringing them in, giving them that exposure. And it's no knock on the older guys, because it's good to bring the mix in every now and then, but it's good to let folks know, okay, we have a new era that you need to see, and they're very talented. You got high-flying guys. I've seen a guy do the 450 splash off the top rope springboards.
Oh, man.
Guys like DJ Brown, who
Yeah.
we actually got to announce in South Haven, too, back in the day. I'm glad to see him on there. All sorts of things. So were you intentional about having young talent?
Absolutely, 100% correct. Talent is you got to protect your talent. This show is for us, and what I mean by us is that group of guys that were beneath the Lawlers and Dundees of the world in the previous rendition of Memphis wrestling. And at this point, I'll talk openly about it with you guys. I don't mind at this point, because I've had open conversation with Jerry Lawler about it. Is that on our show, we will not have 70-year-old men in the ring wrestling our guys and beating them.
I like
you can suspend. Yeah, you can suspend disbelief a little bit, but if you've got the gun show Bret Michaels standing across the ring from any Memphis wrestling legend, I don't care who it is, Lawler, Dundee, Jimmy Valiant, insert random name here, Bret Michaels will gun show lariat their head right off of their shoulders.
Yes, straight up.
There's nothing that could make me believe that a 70-year-old man would be able to beat Bret Michaels or Alan Steele or Derek King or the Crowleys or Humongous. Our roster is full of up-and-coming younger stars.
Yeah.
Even the Derek Kings and Alan Steele.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not old.
No.
They've been in the business a while. They're experienced, but these are not old guys.
Yeah, I agree.
And so with all due respect, and King Cobra is one of my good friends and partners in the training facility and everything, but he understands it too. Jerry Jarrett, one of the things, Dustin, can I give you some advice? Absolutely. Let me get out my notepad. But that was one of the things that he said is you have to present the new talent in a way that they were not presented before.
Yes.
And one of the ways to do that is to have the classic Memphis wrestling guys, because we all love them. We all love them and we all want to see them, is to have them in the mix, but not necessarily have them in the ring against our guys, because that time has kind of come and gone at this point. And I think we can all agree on that. It's very similar to where when I'm watching the Grizzlies play the Celtics a couple of weeks ago, and I saw some Celtics fans with Larry Bird jerseys on. We still love Larry Bird, right? But we don't want him on the court playing. We want him to be a part of it. So hopefully I didn't sound too disrespectful on that.
Oh,
but
no, I like it, man.
It's a new time.
Absolutely.
It's a new time, man.
I love it, man.
And that's one thing, Bob, I know that's one thing we talked about, even doing shows back in the day. I'm like, all due respect to those guys, I love them, we've talked to them, but you want to pass the torch to some degree, or even more to some degree, literally.
Well,
and you can't.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all
I don't
the way,
know,
but you know what I mean. Yeah.
I don't know that torch will necessarily be passed, handed over.
Yeah.
I think what we're doing right now is we're just having to take it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's what you have to do.
100%.
And I'm glad that change is happening and you guys are doing that.
Love the mindset.
Because you've got to make a difference now, and new things are coming along, and hey, I'm looking forward to it. And you guys got something coming up this week.
Yes. So Sunday, first, watch Saturday's show at noon. That's the Grind City Rumble. So you will see us crown our first ever Memphis Heritage Champion. Okay. So it's an open invitation, over the top rope. Basically anything goes, every man and woman for themselves. So you will see some stars from all across the independent scene here in the Mid-South. Guys that you say, well, what if that guy showed up? Hey, he might. Or she might. So it's basically open invitation. Last two people in the ring will have a one-on-one competition right there, and the winner will be the first ever Memphis Heritage Champion. But this weekend, we're live at the Wrestle Center. So 2 p.m. bell time. Tickets are still available. ChampionshipWrestlingMemphis.com. You can follow us at CW30 Wrestling. But we want everybody to come out and see the Wrestle Center. It will re-premiere on television on May 22nd, which is next Saturday. But you've got to see it for yourself. Everybody from Jason and John to the Chris Vernon show to Mark Giannotto and Jeffrey, the Memphis Business Journal, the Commercial Appeal, they've all been talking about it, and we're all extremely thrilled with it. So come check it out live with us, championshipwrestlingmemphis.com. That's Sunday at 2 p.m. And immediately following that, we have our free Dave and Buster's watch party. So we'll literally give you a free game card to go and play video games and watch WrestleMania Backlash with us on Sunday, absolutely free.
That's right.
Absolutely free, immediately following our Memphis Wrestling television taping.
All right, we're talking to Dustin Starr, and this championship Memphis Wrestling is well, I'm not going to say back, a new thing that he's got going on here in Memphis.
And he's the voice.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting indeed. And Dustin, we had a call coming in. I think it was wanting to talk to you. Would you be willing to talk to someone?
Yeah, I guess so. Who is it?
That's a good question.
No, it's not a wrestler, anybody after you. So I'm just.
Yeah, you know, we've had them conversations on the air before. So,
yeah, the person, the phone call that just came in, I think they wanted to talk. You're welcome to call back 901-213-6020. If you can call back, and we'll connect you with Dustin Starr. And
that might be it. Let's see.
Call from Bailey Parks Urethane, Inc. To accept.
All right, caller, welcome to the show. I think we got him on there.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, morning, Bob and Josh.
Good, yeah, whatever
What's up,
you
Jet?
wanted to be.
yeah, had to adjust it, and to you too, Dustin.
Thanks, man.
Got a question. Growing up, and Bob and Josh probably know, outside of political and everything else I'm involved with, my life, I've come from a wrestling house. None of us actually wrestled, but I mean, Saturday mornings was church in my house. From the day I was born. Through the early 90s. After that, the game had changed, and I'm not one of the new day wrestling fans. I'll say that much. Probably after WCW, I was about done with it. But
I got you.
Still love the product. I still watch on my big screen television. I still turn on YouTube and watch old Memphis wrestling. That's still my preference for the game today. Yeah, that's still my preference. What I was calling for is, and I've always thought that I would have made a great wrestler, a good wrestler, very good.
Oh, man.
That lane or avenue was never available to me. Not in the least bit, not even close. Didn't even know anybody related to the game until I was an older adult. So then that brings me to the reason for the call. Would this be a good idea to create something available, since we are dealing with the Memphis market here, to create something for inner city youth? I got air quotes up around inner city, but youth to have access to that kind of training, to learn the business at an early stage. And I think out of that, I think that's just another avenue. I mean, Memphis, as big as it is for basketball, it used to be at least as big for wrestling. But I think that's still woven into the fabric of our existence as a city. And outside of WWE and all of the giant stuff, I think we can build that back to the relevance for. I think we have a unique place to be probably the only market that could build back as big as something that could fill the Mid-South Coliseum again on a given night for local wrestling. Now you would still have Vince and the team kicking off the top talent, but then you will have a system where people could make money doing this. Young people can make money doing this, and that's just another avenue that we'll have to travel. Because I think you can bring the interest may not seem like it's there now, but I think you can get it back. I think it's just because it's not in our face anymore. That's the only reason the interest is falling off.
So Dustin, what do you think about what Jet's saying there?
No, first of all, I appreciate the call, man. I love talking to old school Memphis wrestling fans. I still turn on YouTube and watch old school Memphis wrestling, especially booking the new Memphis wrestling, because the whole idea of the new show is for it to have a classic feel to it. It's Southern style wrestling. You don't have in-ring promos. You have promos at the desk.
Yes,
all the drama goes down at the desk like Lance and Dave. So I urge you that if you haven't given our product a chance, then on May 22nd, tune in. You can watch it on YouTube on your big screen TV. It's youtube.com/championship wrestling. But Jerry Jarrett will be on that program. And then also you'll see a new style. You'll see our show completely change from what it is right now. And it will have a much different feel, very much like old USWA and classic Memphis wrestling. And you mentioned the kids. It kind of reminds me of the Memphis Grizzlies youth team, where they go around and they teach kids of the city basketball and different ways to practice and dribble. And I work very closely with Antonio and the Memphis Grizzlies youth sports. Also, we work very closely with Big Brother, Big Sister of Mid-South and the Heal the Hood Foundation of Memphis, who work really closely with the Memphis City Schools.
Okay,
so I say all that to say,
good connect there. Yeah, good
the
avenue
avenues
for
are
it.
there. Absolutely, the avenues are there, and we would love to have some sort of, whether it's a day or a couple of hours, a couple of times a week or something, to where we have school kids come by. And that doesn't mean they're going to be in there taking bumps and wrestling and being power bombed and all that, because it's much more than that. Any kind of sport is a team activity, and it's learning from coaches. And my time in the wrestling business and growing up in locker rooms, I learned everything from nutrition to workouts to things not to do. So there's a big opportunity with the kids. And we said this earlier, that we haven't had Memphis wrestling on television in 15 years. I have a son that's almost 13. So his whole life has never watched Memphis wrestling on television because it wasn't available. So there's a whole generation of kids that we need to hit.
Absolutely.
We've got to get in front of them. We got to let them know, because they have no idea what the history of, they don't know who Dave Brown is, because Dave's been retired. So we've got to do a better job. And we just launched. We're only 11 episodes in, and I think we've done a good job, but we need to keep pushing forward and letting those kids and younger kids know about it. And I'm trying to hit everything that you've said, but you did mention Mid-South Coliseum. We work very closely with the Coliseum Coalition, which is a group that was put together to help save the building. So we did help save the building. So now they have to have an investor that goes in and puts a little money behind it and figures out what to do with it. But whenever there's a wrestling event, whether it's a Roundhouse Revival or a full-fledged wrestling show that's going to take place at Mid-South Coliseum, Championship Wrestling from Memphis and myself will absolutely be a part of it. We want to be the first group to run there. The relationship is there. And last but not least, this is a great feeder system for AEW and WWE.
Definitely.
Over the course of the 3 years, the talent that have appeared on our program are the likes of MJF, Scorpio Sky, Cody Rhodes has appeared on our program live in studio with us. Brandon Cutler.
Big,
There's NXT stars, AEW stars, New Japan stars. We've had guys and gals on our program that got those opportunities and contracts at the next level. So I have a very strong confidence that once we launch this new look of our show, there's going to be eyeballs on it. And it only takes one person to see one talent that they liked, and then they get signed. So there's going to be some big opportunities for the talented people here in Memphis. And then also we are doing our best to reach those kids, because that is very important to the longevity and future of our television program and Memphis wrestling in general. So very good question. Great point.
Build that, and it's a great opportunity for our kids. When we came up, that was a thing to do, just like parks, swimming, wrestling Saturday mornings was a thing to do.
Hey, our Saturday afternoon show is Saturday at noon. So we've got a great time slot, just like the good old days. And I'm not saying that it's the new Mid-South Coliseum, but those weekly or those monthly live events, they'll now take place at the Wrestle Center instead of the Mid-South Coliseum. Now, that doesn't mean we won't do some shows around town. You'll definitely see us pop up around town. We have a drive-in wrestling event taking place on Saturday, May 29th.
Oh, wow.
It's a benefit and a fundraiser for the Hero Empowerment Center and the Heal the Hood Foundation. So we do have some outside shows. But
That's
I think
good,
the best
man.
bet,
I'm glad
man,
y'all working with Heal the Hood. That's awesome.
check us out at the Wrestle Center, man. You will love it.
I will. I gotta
Right.
get out there. I gotta get out there and get involved in that. And also, Cody Rhodes, before I go, and I do have to go, Cody Rhodes may be the best, most underrated, best actor come out of WWE. I enjoy him as an actor. Very diverse dude. He's a good actor.
Yes.
He's a good actor. Yeah, I've seen him in a few movies, television series. He's pretty good.
I actually have some. Yeah, no, thank you for the call.
Thanks.
I have some
Thank you,
people say, "Oh, look,
all right,
you're the new Vince McMahon, or you're the new Jerry Jarrett, or you're the new Cody." And I'm like, "All right, if you're gonna call me one of them, I'd prefer to be Cody.
Yeah.
He's married to Brandy. He dresses nice, and he's got pretty good hair."
There you go. I was thinking the similarity, man. You know, the blonde, you know, and I don't know if you
There
could.
you go. I'll take Triple H.
Yeah. There you go, man. But yeah, it's awesome to hear all the stuff you're doing, man, and it's just so much you guys can do, and I see that you are doing. So it's great to see. I think we got one more call. We may
Call
squeeze
from
in.
Hank Russell.
See if we can get Hank in here.
Hank, welcome to the show.
What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing today?
Doing great. How are you? Real quick, we don't want to hold Dustin all day.
No.
What's up? How are you, man?
I'm good, Dustin. It's been a while. You know, I'm just gonna publicly give Dustin his roses right now.
Okay.
Because this needed to happen well over 15 years ago. Because a lot of the guys that, like, you know, I've commentated many of Dustin's matches over the past 19 years, and one of the things that did happen was that a lot of guys I felt were being held back a lot of times that really deserved a little bit more opportunity. And, you know, now a lot of those guys are kind of in their early to mid 30s and some even like 40 and still have great potential to be able to make it in other aspects of the wrestling business. So, you know, I mean, Dustin, do you agree that like maybe 15 years ago that a lot of these opportunities were being held back because of the way that some of the old school guys were running the wrestling in Memphis?
Yeah, you know, I like to try to be. I kind of try to look at it from a different seat at this point because it probably was not done maliciously. It was probably done where, hey, the fans know who these guys are.
Yeah.
So let's put these guys first and foremost, and then the other guys will kind of fill in the blanks. But the way that we're looking at the show is I look at the show on television like there are people that don't know who I am. There are people that don't know who Derek is. There's people. I assume that it's been so long that Memphis Wrestling hasn't been on the air that the fans don't know who these guys are. So we have to introduce them, tell the story, and assume that they don't already know.
Right.
But yeah, I do think that some of those opportunities were probably gobbled up by those who were already there instead of those that were headed into the future. So there's some truth in that for sure.
And to be fair, I know it was out of necessity for, you know, drawing money and being able to, you know, produce, you know, the money that they needed to be able to run these shows. So I can understand that. But as far as creating new stars and stuff like that, that needs to kind of progress as well. And I think that you're doing a fantastic, and, you know, from somebody who, you know, who's been around the wrestling business on and off for 19 years, I do appreciate what you've done, Dustin. I really do.
Well, I appreciate that, man. It means a lot to me. You know, it's one of those things where you just put blinders on and ignore anybody that talks negatively and just keep pushing forward, man. And that's kind of what we're doing is yeah, man, I really appreciate it. It makes my day when people say stuff like that, because it is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of invested money. And it's not just me working hard, man. The boys were inside the building, literally scrubbing floors. The desk was made by the posse. Some of the seating in there was all made by the posse and the wrestlers. So you'll see that. We'll actually tell those stories on television, and you'll see some behind the scenes stuff. But I always looked at it like this. People sometimes, it's easy to sit back and say, oh, Jerry Lawler booked himself on top all those years. That's why he won all those titles. Well, here's the reality of it. sitting in the seat that I'm in, there's only one person that I could trust 100% of the time. There's only one person that I know that will be there every show, come hell or high water, and it's me.
Yeah.
So I look at it like Lawler felt the same way. If there's a lot of money on the line and the ratings are on the line and all that stuff, there was only one person that he could trust to be there all the time and to carry the load. And that was him, because he was the boss. So that's a whole different way to look at it. But this is going to be different than it ever has been. You're going to have champions that you haven't heard of. You're going to get new favorite wrestlers that you didn't even know existed. And I think Bret Michaels has proven that right now. And the Crowleys, they're just so interesting and fun to watch that it's like people ask about those guys. And Nikki Lane, one of the most popular females that we have. So, yeah, it's a different ball game. And trust me, we're not going to stray away from that formula.
Awesome.
And I appreciate that, because when an 8-year-old talks about when they're 30 about the days of growing up on Memphis wrestling, it's going to be what's being produced right now.
Yes, good point. We talk a lot about classic Memphis wrestling from, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Well, if we can last, let's face it, Corey Macklin's Memphis wrestling didn't last that long.
Yeah.
Randy Hell's Power Pro Wrestling didn't last but a handful of years, literally 3 years.
Yeah. Wow.
If we can, we've already outlasted some of them, with the total time of being on the air. So let's say that we have a good 5-10 year run here, or maybe even longer. The next chapter that people will be talking about is our Memphis wrestling. So that's very cool to think.
Right.
If we're as successful as we think we can be, they're going to be talking about us just like we talked about Lawler, Dundee, and all those guys back in the day.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm really looking forward to, is writing some history.
The new generation.
Absolutely. And I don't mean to hold y'all up. I've got to get out of here myself. Dustin, thanks, man. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, Hank.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the call.
Thanks, Hank.
I love it.
All right. Dustin, man, we really appreciate you coming in and joining us today on the show. And we're holding you longer than we were.
Oh, that's okay, man. Hey, I love talking to the fans. I love talking to you guys. You guys have always been tremendous wrestling fans. That's first and foremost. I never look at that as a bad thing. I'm the biggest wrestling fan there is. I would not be doing any of this if I didn't love pro wrestling, and especially love Memphis wrestling. And if anybody ever tells you guys any different, they're just lying to your face, because I love it.
All right, Dustin,
bro.
one more time.
So thank you guys.
Tell us about the event coming up, and then tell us about
Wrestle Center. Yeah.
Where you are, your new studio, and all that stuff, and address.
Sunday, 2 p.m. bell time. Dave Brown will be in the house. VIP starts at noon, from noon to 1. And then the doors for the arena open at 1. You can come in, enjoy some music, some Tops Barbecue. We record 3 shows live. So it's going to be from about 2 to 4:45, 2 to 5, something like that. We'll give you a free Dave & Buster's game card so you can head out and watch WrestleMania Backlash absolutely free at Dave & Buster's Wolf Chase. You can get your tickets at championshipwrestlingmemphis.com. Be sure to follow us at CW30 Wrestling. Watch us every Saturday at high noon on CW30 and on YouTube Premiere. Now, the cool thing, you guys are doing Facebook Live right now. Well, we do YouTube Live. So on the show at noon, we air the show at the same time on YouTube, and you can come and live chat with us. And immediately following, I always do a live reaction and interact with the fans. So Saturday is our favorite day. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend because they're off on the weekend. Well, that's when we do our work, is on the weekend. So our show on Saturday, live event on Sunday. Hey, Bob, Josh, you guys got to come out and check it out, man. Be my guest and come check us out.
We'll do,
Hey,
man.
we'd love to.
And we're on YouTube Live as well, aren't we, Josh?
Yeah, YouTube,
Yes, sir.
Twitter.
All
So,
right. Hey,
definitely, man.
absolutely, man. We appreciate you joining us today, man. It's an honor.
Let's do it again.
All right.
Absolutely, man. And
That's Starr.
tell Derek we said what's up, man. I know he's threatened us
I will.
many times.
many times.
Yeah. So
thank you, guys.
Have a good one, Dustin. All right. It was Dustin Starr.
Yes, sir.
Great wrestling thing he's got going on here. Looking forward to that as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
And shout out to the people watching. I see several of y'all coming on in the building. Let's see. Frankie in the building. Hank Russell with the comment I put on the screen a little earlier. Verdell, good morning, brother. Good almost afternoon now. Jet Lucas, Leon Mapstone, Valerie Dishman says see you Sunday, so she's gonna be there.
Oh, okay.
And Jet says Lance Russell and Dave Brown. Let's see. I'm not right. See, he's typing in Southern language. Right along ringside. Right along ringside. Yeah. So shout out to that, man.
Yeah.
So man, everybody's excited, man. New Memphis Wrestling. I was so glad to hear Dustin address the elephant in the room when it came to the old heads in Memphis Wrestling. And like I said, no disrespect to any of those guys that were great in their day. And Bob, I know you know.
Yeah.
But
we had other callers that were trying to call.
Oh yeah,
and talk
I mean,
as well.
yeah.
But hey, thanks for your calls and trying to get through. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there were guys, even when our time we were doing at the time it was SGWA, it's not around anymore. But one of the things you would see the older guys beat younger upcoming guys.
Yeah.
And it just didn't look believable.
It didn't look
and it kind of it sullies the reputation a little bit with guys that are coming in and watching that. So it's good to see he's bringing in a new generation. And it's not that you can't have older guys mixed in. Just depends on the role that they play. It uplifting the younger guy.
Yeah, right.
So,
all right, and I tell you what, do we got another topic we're going to talk about here, Josh?
Yes. You want to take a quick break?
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back with that topic. Very interesting. Well, you want to stick around for that, and there's some things that are going on in our area in the news, and we'll talk about that and take your phone calls as well. 901-213-6020 is the number to call, and we'll be back after this. You're listening to Talk Back Live with Bob
and Josh,
and on the Talk Back Live radio network. We'll be back.
This pandemic has hit us hard, but Tennesseans don't stay down for long. We're known for our resilience, and we refuse to back down from a challenge. This challenge is no different. You might be out of work, but there's an opportunity waiting for you. We need you to roll up your sleeves and join our workforce. Right now, thousands of jobs are ready to be filled. Find them at jobsfortn.gov. Let's get to work, Tennessee.
I watch y'all coming here for years, because you shot somebody. Now your life is shot. You gonna pick that phone up one day, and that girl gonna be done dumped you and raise your child with another man. Or maybe your mama or your grandmama dies. Because ain't nothing you can do about it. You got 15 to 20 years, state or fed time. Real talk. Don't lose your head, use your head, man. Gun crime, max time.
We Tennesseans all have a choice to make in our fight against COVID-19.
I choose to enjoy live music.
I choose to cheer on my team.
I choose to go out.
I choose to stay healthy.
I choose to celebrate with my family.
The choice is simple. Choose to live your life and choose to live responsibly. Face it, masks fight COVID-19.
It's not about challenging times
or new normals.
It's about staying true to what matters most.
And we're more committed than ever to your health.
Your safety has always been our top priority.
Times may have changed,
but they haven't changed who we are.
We're here for you every single day.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour. It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around.
Didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Now.
It's just a few cocktails at happy. It's just a
City Rumble. Open invitation. Every man and woman for themselves. Who will be crowned the first ever Memphis Heritage Champion? Find out at high noon on CW30 Memphis.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Pedestrian safety is a two-way street. Both drivers and walkers need to do their part to keep roads safe. When you're walking, remember, the drivers may not always see you, so remember to use these tips to continue to walk safely. Wear bright clothes. Always use crosswalks and obey signs. Lights and reflectors should be used. And finally, keep alert and do not walk distracted. This message brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Patrol.
All right, and welcome back to the show, Talk Back Live with Bob
and Josh.
And it is now 11:55 a.m., 11:55 in the morning on Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. And, hey, it's a beautiful day on the outside. And the number to call on our show is 901-213-6020. If you want to talk to us today, and some of your phone calls we missed earlier, when we had Dustin Starr was on the show with us just a few minutes earlier, and we were talking to him, and it's good to talk to him. It's been a while, and about some big wrestling event things that are coming up here in the Mid-South. All right, again, the number to call is 901-213-6020. Josh, in other news.
Yes, sir.
The bridge. Oh, my goodness, the bridge. What is going on with this bridge here in Memphis? And I'm going to tell you this, Josh. I just don't believe that this is something that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think this has been a problem for some time on the bridge, and these guys just now caught it. Or these guys just now saw it and reported it. I wonder how long this has been like this, and then other people that have inspected the bridge just overlooked it or just didn't see it when they were inspecting the bridge. This was too close for comfort here. You never know when this thing might have gave in, if it would have given in. I mean, it wasn't just cracked. It is broken.
Yeah, straight up.
You know, it is broken in a couple of places. And it seems like major places here. And, man, this was a bad accident, a bad situation waiting to happen on this bridge.
So, yeah, to your point, though, it's pretty crazy. I mean, you can see the crack there. Let me go back to that picture. Flipping through other pictures there, but there's a crack, and it's more, to me, that's like you said, it's a split.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally. So
it's broken.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, and that's a steel beam there. So one makes you wonder, how long has that been a problem? Has that been in place to the point where the inspector that found it, there was a 911 call that was made by the inspector in Arkansas Travel, and you know, he's like, hey, we got to get the people off this bridge right now because this is super critical. He called it, he didn't call it just critical. He called it super critical situation. So that just shows how serious the whole thing was. So, and looking here, Stanley Fenster said that crack was there longer than they say it was.
Well, it looks like it's old.
Yeah,
it don't look like some fresh break or something, you know. Man, and this wow, that is scary. You never know when this thing might have just given in, and especially with all that traffic on it during certain times of the day. It's
exactly. And to your point, real quick, it was right in the middle of the bridge, like right in the center. So it wasn't on one side or the other. It was basically right down the middle, over the water. So that makes it even more of a critical situation. But before we go any further, I'm gonna play the news clip that explains some of this, because there's so many angles to it. But we're gonna play this, and then we'll be back and talk about it some more.
All right, we'll be back after this. You want to call and talk about your situation? What do you think about this?
Yes, sir.
In this bridge, how long do you think it's been there? Do you think this is something just now happened, or think it's something that has happened over a period of years? It's been like this for a few years. Scary to even think about. 901-213-6020 is the number to call. Take a listen to this.
Peter joins us live now. Peter, it's been about 24 hours since the bridge was shut down. What's the latest information?
With around 50,000 cars and trucks driving on this bridge between Tennessee and Arkansas, the I-40 bridge deals with a lot of weight, and experts say simple wear and tear led to the crack in its steel foundation.
It looks like it might be a fatigue-induced type failure. If you'll recall, as the commissioner said, the bridge was built in the late 60s, so it's about a 50-year-old structure.
The constant movement that happens as the traffic goes across the bridge, the more you move it, and finally it breaks.
The bridge shutdown affects barge traffic underneath, along with vehicular traffic across. Inspectors are currently evaluating the bridge, which should take about 3 to 4 days. But officials admit repairs could take months instead of weeks to complete. Tennessee and Arkansas will cooperate during the process, along with footing the bill, and they're focused on making the bridge functional as soon as possible.
Well, what about traffic loading? Can we reopen it, all 3 lanes of traffic in each direction, maybe 2 lanes of traffic in each direction? That's the type of analytical work that we have to get done.
TDOT officials couldn't compare the I-40 bridge to any bridge failure or collapse in recent history, but emphasized safety is a priority. The cracked steel beam is small, but still a crucial part of the structure.
If enough components of a bridge are compromised, then the bridge won't stand.
And that was Peter Fleischer reporting. And coming up during our newscast at 5, Peter will explain how traffic will flow while the I-40 bridge is being fixed. Meanwhile, TDOT released these pictures of the bridge truss, which is almost directly in the middle of the bridge over the river. You can see that large crack there going through the steel support beam. And by the way, the Arkansas Department of Transportation says this beam was not part of the seismic retrofit work that was done over the last several years. And one thing to keep in mind, of the 50,000 or so vehicles that pass over the I-40 bridge, about 30% of those are commercial vehicles like tractor trailers.
All right, and that could have been devastating. This bridge breaking. Can you imagine all that traffic in the middle of that bridge, and that bridge collapse and falls right into the middle of the river? Oh man, what a tragedy that would have been. What do you think, folks? Do you think that somebody along the way should be held accountable or responsible for this bridge like this? And do you think it just now happened, or do you think this is something that's been there for a few years? And somebody just found it and just now reporting it? I don't think it's new. I think it's something that's been
it can be new,
been broken for a while, and it's just gotten worse over a period of maybe, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe even more. But it is time now that these people that inspected, I think they were from Arkansas, the T Arkansas, whatever.
Yeah, it's Arkansas.
Inspectors found this on the bridge, and well, I don't know. Is there any other spots on this bridge?
Now, to your point, though, I'm just reading some different things on it, right?
Right.
They began emergency repairs on it yesterday, right? The officials said it could have had the potential to become a catastrophic event. They also said that steel beam was not just a steel beam. It was a support area, and they called it a critical beam to the bridge.
Wow.
So all of this was very, very big. Like, I know some people think, hey, it's probably not that big of a deal as people are making it out to be. No, it seems like it really was.
Yeah.
That and more. So again, it raises the question, what are they doing? Is this the first time it's been inspected in all of these years, or are people halfway
inspecting it when they come out there to inspect it? Are they just going out there and then just marking off on the list and saying they inspected the bridge, or what? Or do you think, like I said, do you think this just happened?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you think this is something that's happened over a period of years and they just now caught it? This is a 50-year-old bridge. And if they look close enough, they may find something else.
Yeah, you never know.
Wrong with this bridge. Now everybody's going across the I-55 bridge, which is somewhat of a smaller bridge, but
that was only 2 lanes.
Yeah.
You know,
and
we got 6 on that.
Coming across from Arkansas and going over from Memphis to Tennessee and Arkansas. Man, I think there needs to be another way across the river rather than just this bridge and then the I-55 bridge. There is another bridge down near about 100 miles away in Mississippi, and then there's another bridge up near the Dyersburg, Tennessee area.
Mm-hmm.
But those things are too far apart.
I mean, that's
Memphis being a metropolitan city, a big city as Memphis is, we need several ways across that river, not just those 2 bridges. And I understand that there was talks of recently putting another bridge across the river. And so, yeah, there was conversation about building another bridge across the river in Memphis. And I think it's needed. I think they do need a new bridge, but right now, I think they need to repair this one real well before putting traffic back on it and making sure that all the anything that's wrong with the bridge, they need to find out and then repair it.
Hey, looking here, Notori Emery says people forget about the bridge that dropped in Oklahoma back in the day, which is true. That's was definitely a scary situation.
What was that?
It is a long
okay.
time.
If
I'm sure
you
he
give
can
us,
let us know.
Give us the date on that, Notori Emery. When was that? That bridge that dropped. Yeah, and let us know what that's terrible.
Yeah, I remember. I think
terrible.
Yes, sir. I remember in Minnesota also.
Mm-hmm.
I remember something like that went down. Looking here, Robert Lee says, the responses will be funding was why it was missed. Basically saying that they're going to try to say that their lack of funding, has something to do with them overlooking that. He also says there will be an investigation into who inspected the bridge over the years, and it should be.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it should be. Jay Lucas says, so the I-55 bridge is now handling triple its usual traffic and is much older. And that bridge already looks like the Zippin' Pippin, which is the old ride at Liberty Land, if y'all remember that. Elvis's favorite roller coaster, they called it. But yeah, man, it does. I mean, now
that I-55 bridge kind of worries me, man.
But it's getting a lot of traffic
It's
now.
getting a lot of traffic, but
what's
wrong with that bridge? Have they inspected that bridge like they've done doing this one? What's going on with that bridge?
Because that's even older.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's way older.
I-55 bridge, man, it looks like a old. The I-40 bridge looks like something much newer than the I-55 bridge. I'm not sure, but
it's way newer, and that's why they built because people still call it the new bridge.
Yeah,
even though it's not new anymore, but it's.
But hey,
50,
we need to find out what's going on with the I-55 bridge.
That's true.
And looking at traffic this morning, there were 18-wheelers. Those are commercial trucks, man, vehicles that travel from other places, from West Coast, and come through Memphis to head other places. Man, that is a very important bridge.
Mm-hmm.
and a way to travel across the river. And I do believe they do need to put another bridge across the river, and I think it needs to be down in that area where those other two bridges are in the downtown area.
That's a great point. I'm actually looking at Twitter, people saying that, hey, this just underscores the need for a third river crossing.
Yeah.
Within a reasonable distance, because the ones you were talking about are so far away.
Yeah.
You almost can't even consider those.
If you cross the bridge down in Mississippi, it's about 70 miles away.
Mhm.
You have to travel all the way up here, and it becomes
and think about this. It's such a huge hub, right? The bridge that has the crack in it now. It's such a huge hub for 18-wheelers and major traffic, and not just people traveling, right? But people that are doing business, critical business,
right?
Gas trucks, grocery trucks. I mean, this is stuff that's important to businesses everywhere. And you got to wonder how this is going to have impact, because these folks are going to get there a lot slower now. And then we don't know how long this is going to last.
I remember this bridge when I was a very young man.
Yeah.
I was.
It was built in the 60s.
Yeah, I was coming across that bridge when I was traveling from California. I was driving, and I used to travel across that I-40 bridge, that new bridge, coming from California and traveling through that bridge and coming across to I-40 and going up to Jackson and Humboldt, Tennessee, back in the day. So just to visit. And so that bridge has had a lot of traveling. I did a lot of traveling on that bridge before even, coming to this city. But it's old. It's new, but it's old.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of traffic and a lot of beating. And so, I recommend while the bridge is down, traffic is down off the bridge, that they check
do everything they
places.
need to do.
Yeah, they need to do everything they need to do. Check other places, make sure this bridge is complete after they not just fix that area, but make sure there's other areas that are not broken as well. Because if that area is broken, then there's probably could be a chance, a possibility that there's other areas that may have cracks and things like that as well. So you want to check that out.
Jet saying they've already fixed it. They put some duct tape on it, and it's up.
Yeah, I saw somebody had a picture.
Yeah, I see several
with duct tape on the bridge.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh my goodness." Well, as long as that new tape. What is that new tape called? They call it, man. It's so strong that.
You talking about Flex Seal?
No,
because I saw somebody.
Yeah,
that commercial with that guy.
The boat don't.
Yeah,
leak.
he put it on the boat. It stopped it from sinking.
But no.
Anybody got some super glue?
Super glue, yeah. Oh my, it has to be super. I'm telling you. But hey, they need to do everything they need to do while they're working on this bridge, and the I-55 bridge. Man, as soon as they get that I-40 bridge rolling, they need to take a good eye at that I-55 bridge and see what's going on there.
Definitely. And
901-213-6020. Yeah.
Just a couple more minutes here, but I'm looking Notori asked for our thoughts on this article. Let me see if I can pull it up here. She also posted that Oklahoma bridge 18 years ago.
Oh, okay.
2002.
Okay.
It was the I-40 bridge, actually. That collapsed.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about.
And that was where?
In let me click on it here to make sure I got it right.
Oklahoma City?
It is let's see, boom, boom, boom. Weber's Fall, Oklahoma.
I-40?
I-40 bridge.
Oh man.
Interstate 40. It was a 500-foot section of the bridge that collapsed into the Arkansas River.
Wow, man, I traveled that bridge too. Coming on I-40 across the country there. Because I-40 takes you from Southern California really all the way to Memphis and across the country. Yeah, so wow. I was on that bridge too, I guess.
Yeah. said a towboat had knocked that down, hit the supporting pier, and then that's that's crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, she also posted this other article, right, which is interesting. I may even need another show to dive into this a little bit more. And I saw it raised up a little controversy amongst Memphis Tiger fans. And the article basically said, let me see here. Scroll up a little bit further, make sure I got the right one. One of our thoughts on it. It's time for Penny Hardaway to deliver.
Deliver what?
Deliver the King Kong. No, but to deliver on to deliver on I'm assuming a championship or going to the tournament at least. You know, I don't know.
Wow.
They're basically like, hey, we need to quit playing around and get where we need to go. So I don't know, man, but that's probably something I'll talk about a little later because I definitely got some thoughts on that. But I think that'll have to be another show dedicated to that. Maybe even bring some people on with me to talk about it. So, but I definitely appreciate that comment.
Yeah.
Call from Bailey Parks Urethane Inc. to accept.
Jet.
Bailey Park Inc. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Good afternoon. Whatever. On a Thursday.
Oh man. Did you say happy birthday?
No.
Ooh, me?
No,
okay.
Nobody.
Never mind. I heard that wrong. Okay. And I just realized that Josh said he's going to talk about that later. I just wanted to.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Article.
Go ahead.
The article is because when I saw that article, it raised my eyebrow, and then I have to sit back and think it's true. It is time. It's been 3 years now. Next year will be the fourth year. It's time. He had some COVID things happen, some James Wiseman things happen, all of those things. But even with Wiseman's situation, I saw the season looking shaky anyway. And I think they would have pulled out better. It was just looking shaky. They lost to what's the team Chandler played with? They lost to them with James
Oregon.
Wiseman in the lineup. I saw some questionable things even doing that. But I would say this: while it's time, if he doesn't, that doesn't mean anything either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like it's time or he's going to be on the hot seat, right? Because Penny is our last stop for a long time.
Yes.
He's got a lot of grace here, and I think he will. I think this year is going to be different from all the other years, and then we're going to see some things. But I mean, like I said, if he doesn't, then what? The article doesn't even speak to that because there is no then what. It's like I said when they hired. I think Josh remember when they hired Tubby.
Yeah.
I said exactly how that was going to go. Tubby's a good coach, great coach. If you want to, get some wins and get some decent players and then teach the game and do that kind of thing and look good, get some graduation rates in there and the coach for that. But it was a bad hire, and I knew how it was going to end because we didn't have time for that. The difference with Penny and Tubby is you can look at the records. You can say the records look similar and all that. The one big difference is no matter what happens, at least since he's been here and for another few years after, even if anything doesn't change, no matter what happens, us as Tiger fans, there's always hope for next year. With Tubby, it wasn't. It just wasn't. If it didn't happen this year, it was going to be worse next year. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the difference. That's the difference. And Penny has a lot of cash in the bank. So if it doesn't happen this year, yeah, it's time. It's time. I feel that way too. But if it doesn't happen, then there's no repercussion for him. It's just gear up, resell, and retool for next year.
I think that's what people need to think about, man. Memphis has too much invested in Penny. Right now, honestly,
you can't just throw him away like he's passionate or Tubby Smith. You can't do that.
He's in a good position. He knows they need him, just like he doesn't really need them, but they need him.
And he's not just using that either. He's putting in work.
Yes,
you can see him putting in work. So hey, what do you do? And what do you go after Penny? What do you go after Penny? You know what I'm saying? So it's a while before that that train rocks again. So you got to get behind Penny and make that work.
And I'm gonna tell you something.
That should be your job, making it work. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I love, one thing, he's so competitive, and that's what I like about it, right? He sees, man, I want it to be better than this. You see the drive, you see it in the recruiting, almost to the point, at least I feel like sometimes he over recruits and can cause issues.
It cause him a problem, right?
Yes, even right now, I'm like, man, if he would have got what he wanted, I think it ended up perfect.
Yeah,
it just stopped right now because he was trying to get this other. He was trying to get this other guard from Coastal Carolina who's really good.
Yeah,
but I'm like, man, how many? We already got a bunch of guards.
Now, Josh, listen to the problems that we're having.
Yeah, exactly.
That's our problem. How you gonna manage? Oh, he shouldn't recruit these guys now. Let's stop here. Those are our problems, right? We had some totally different problems before. Totally different problems. We didn't have that problem. Cal didn't even have that problem.
No.
Like, don't recruit this guy, right? don't over recruit. The Cal didn't even have that issue, Let's pump our brakes and enjoy this.
Yes,
we try to create problems.
And I'm gonna tell you, the process has been good. This past year, and I've been critical, especially at one point this past year. It was very scary in the first half, but
it was.
I mean, it was like, whoa, what's going on? But the amount of improvement got to the degree, like, man, this is, I think, his best job by far. What he did to this team, to the point where you actually have a culture set with defense and how that you want to play with effort. You got a committed core of guys now, even though you had guys leave. You got guys that are staying and that are going to be the core of what you got going forward, and they can set the example for whoever else comes. So at least now, so at least now you got some type of anchor instead of having complete upheaval. You have something to build upon going forward, and I think that's a good thing.
That's a good thing, man. It's somewhere we ain't been in a while, so I don't know why we trying to make a problem for ourselves. I guess because that sells your paper. I guess so. You gotta write what you gotta write, but it's good. It's good now, and no matter what happens next year, we'll be bashing. If it's awful, we'll be bashing. We'll be critiquing. But the recruiting class is gonna look good, and we'll be saying what we gotta do for that upcoming class until it runs out, But he got a lot of cash in the bank before that happens.
And I'm gonna tell you real quick, I think Chandler is going to be very impactful this year. I'm not saying a superstar player or anything, but I think his role and the things he does is going to really, really help. I think Jonathan's impact is going to be, as far as the Lawsons, I think Jonathan's impact is going to be in the future.
In the future, I think so. I think Chandler is going to be very key, maturity and having been there. I think too, it's going to make Malcolm a different player. I think he's going to do something unexpected this year that people are just like,
he has to now.
Does well. Yeah.
I mean, Musa, I don't know what, and I'm not criticizing nobody, but
I actually think Musa's probably going to end up coming back here.
He needs to, because it just didn't make any sense.
I think he will. And for those other guys, I was a little surprised at first. But I think kind of something people are missing. I think with what was going on with the season, I think maybe Penny nicely, as politely as possible, kind of encouraged those guys to jump in the portal.
I think so.
I think some issues go away, and then when he made people to love the 901 statement, when he did that, after that, these guys that came heard that message, and so I'm glad they're here because they came when the message was sent out there. But I think he nicely and as politely as possible encouraged them into the portal. It's no different what Kyle used to do, but he used to encourage them to go in the draft. Some players he wanted to go jump in the draft to make room for the next group.
Exactly.
So, all right. But it's been good. I enjoyed y'all today on every topic.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, and I've got another thing I want to bark about too here in just a minute, Jed.
I ain't about Keith Williams.
See, you reminded me. No, I didn't have it on.
I ain't seen him in a while.
I can't get I don't know my password to that
face. See, I knew it. Man, that tripped me out when I saw that.
Keith Williams just disappeared. He still show up up on my page as a friend suggestion. It's just like he's just out there floating around now.
And I don't know how
Okay.
they put somebody like that over our kids. Anyway,
let's move.
Let's move on.
What were you finna write about?
No. This is the thing. Jet, you can hang on, you can hang up, whatever you want to do. But listen,
I'm gonna hang up and listen.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Listen, folks. Listen. I have a legitimate argument to talk about here, and I think you'll agree with me. What is going on with the Memphis Grizzlies?
Oh no, man.
What's going on?
Okay, now
What's going on?
We need time.
What's going on with the Memphis Grizzlies?
We need time dedicated to that one.
No, listen. Listen. I am, if you agree with me, you let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know anyway. You can call, you can leave a statement on Facebook, YouTube, wherever. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
This Memphis Grizzlies team is not any better than when we had Lionel Hollins. What was the other guys?
Well, look.
No. When we had all these black coaches coaching the Memphis Grizzlies, they were always threatened about their job.
We ain't had that many.
No. What I'm saying, when the black coaches were coaching the Memphis Grizzlies, they were always threatened about their job.
Okay.
Your job is on the line. We're going to fire you. We're going to do this. You're going to do that. Now that Taylor Jenkins is there, I don't hear any of the white boys. I don't hear of anybody talking about firing Taylor Jenkins. I hadn't heard not one conversation or one statement about even thinking about getting rid of the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies. Taylor, is that his name? Taylor Jenkins?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's even said anything about this white man. Not even threatened him. They're not even threatened about his job. But when there were black coaches that were head of the Memphis Grizzlies, oh yeah, they were threatened. Oh, they were, talking about this, talking about that, and getting rid of it and all that kind of. They were threatened about their job. And they were doing good jobs. But now I have not heard anything about any threats concerning Taylor Jenkins, this white man over the Grizzlies, about his job. Not one thing. Now, if somebody's heard anything about it, you let me know. I have not heard any threats toward Taylor Jenkins about being fired.
Well, now, it's true, number one. It is true. Now, I guess nobody in the media, I'll put it that way. Mm-hmm. Now, some fans have been pretty critical, especially lately. Mm-hmm. They were playing extremely well at one point. Then it seemed like the last 2 weeks, Jaren Jackson gets healthy. They're trying to switch up the lineup. Some terrible decisions by Coach Jenkins that has led to some of the chemistry falling apart. Mm-hmm. I think that's completely on the coach and the coaching staff. Some on the front office, it depends on who people want to blame right now. Some people feel like the front office is telling Taylor Jenkins to play these guys that he's playing. Some people feel like Taylor Jenkins is making these decisions for himself, and that no matter whose fault it is, it's all of their fault because the chemistry has been falling apart that they've had a lot of this season. Mm-hmm. But here's what I will say. I do think there is clearly a unwillingness to be too critical of Taylor Jenkins for a couple of reasons. One, because it's only his second season. And two...
No, that doesn't matter. Even when those black coaches were there for a short period of time, their jobs were threatened.
Yeah, no,
they were threatened. We're going to fire you. We're going to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and all that kind of stuff.
I agree. But
this Taylor Jenkins guy, he has not one word has been said or anything said about getting rid of this guy.
I agree with you.
Threatening him about his job.
I agree with you.
But those black coaches, they were threatened all the time.
You're not wrong. But here's the thing. I don't think they should have been threatened. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. But I don't think Taylor Jenkins should be threatened. I really don't.
It's not the point that he shouldn't be threatened.
Yeah.
It's why they're not threatening him as much as they did those black coaches that were here about their job. So, that's the point. Taylor Jenkins has not been threatened. Nothing even said about his job is on the line at all. As soon as those other black coaches were in there, their job was on the line.
Well, and I think, and I agree 100%. I agree. And we talked about it at the time, especially with Lionel. With some of the criticism. Some of that criticism was personal, too, with some of the media members, as far as personal dislike, because of certain things Lionel would say to them, you know, and how he would say, because he was very brash. And it's just like, there's a lot of coaches that are that way.
Well, and then
Lionel was old school, too.
Yeah, and then the media, you know, most of the white media, when they said something, you know, seemed like the Grizzlies head officer, whoever it was, listened to them. You know, those shows that come on, you're not gonna call any names, but you know who they are.
Yeah, now
they talked about Lionel and you know the other black coaches all the time.
Now, and again, the black coaches that we've had since Lionel, it was Lionel, and then I'm trying to think, it was Bickerstaff, JB Bickerstaff, and then his assistant David Fisdale, who Fisdale went to the playoffs. The 1 year he was head coach, and Fisdale was let go mainly because of the Marc Gasol incident. You know, and you know I got mixed feelings about Fisdale, but for other reasons. But and I think it's a reason why he hasn't been hired again either. Even though I think you look at some of these other white coaches that have been hired, you know, Fisdale, I don't think he's a great coach, but I do think he deserves a job if some of these other people getting jobs. But nonetheless, JB Bickerstaff's head coach now in Cleveland. You know, he got hopped on. I think he was here for 2 years, 1.5 years, something like that. You know, it's one of those things. We know what happens. They're definitely being treated differently. Let's see. Let me look here. Notori Emery says black coaches are definitely treated differently. It hasn't been right since Lionel got pushed out the door.
Great.
Jet says, well, no matter what color, anybody named Jenkins is black. LOL. You know, it's funny. I always thought that about when I first heard Taylor Jenkins. I'm like, oh, they hired another brother. Then I saw him. He's probably the complete opposite. He's a very white man. But Jet says, but seriously, Bob is correct. Just like Tebow getting these gigs, it's overtly white privilege. That's why I do want to do a show about Tebow. I don't know if y'all know Tebow has been signed. Is going to be signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars after not playing for 6 years. Out of the NFL for 6 years. He's getting a job, and a lot of people are upset about it. Tim Tebow. Now in Jacksonville, and a lot of people calling it white privilege. There's a lot of guys that play his position that are black that are not getting opportunities to play that have been playing over the past several years. They feel like Tebow's getting some white privilege. Now, to be fair, he is the coach in Jacksonville, the new coach in Jacksonville, was also his college football coach in Florida, where they won multiple national titles. So there's going to be some favoritism, to be perfectly honest with you. You know that's going to happen.
Yeah. But, yeah, this thing with the Memphis Grizzlies, to me, is a racist thing. I don't,
and I get it now. Look, and to be fair, to be fair,
to jump down the throat of all those other black coaches and threatening them for their job, and then this white coach Taylor Jenkins has been in here, and then they've not said one thing to him or threatened him at all. You know, I believe it seems like this guy, if he really wants to be around here, I think they're content. Whatever his situation is, they're content for a while to give him a chance.
I get it, but the situation's a little different.
You know, regardless of what it looks like.
Let me say this now. But the situation, and I get you, the situation's a little different. Because with Lionel and JB and even David Fisdale, right? Those were all teams that were going to the playoffs, had much higher expectations, especially with Lionel. Now, Lionel.
Okay, why were they going to the playoffs?
I know, but hear me out, though.
Okay.
They had better teams. It just did. Now, Lionel,
but you have to be a good coach.
I know. But here's the point, though. Lionel came in and turned the culture around after several years, built them up to be a Western Conference Finals contending team.
Mm-hmm.
Team that was always winning 50-plus games, always in the playoffs, always dangerous with the particular style that they played.
Mm-hmm.
May agree or disagree with certain decisions that he made, and I did as well, just like any coach. But it won, and a lot of people felt like he should not have been pushed out the door. Now, he was not fired. His contract was not renewed.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, people felt like he was pushed out, which I do believe he was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, either way it goes, those teams, even J.B. Bickerstaff, when he came in, those teams were still expected to go to the playoffs because they still had Zach Randolph, they still had Mike Conley, Mark Gasol, Tony Allen. That was the grit and grind core. So when you come in, you're expected to win and go to the playoffs and take us to another level. And those coaches are going to have a lot more pressure. Now, what does Taylor Jenkins have? A completely uprooted situation. They ripped everything apart and hired Taylor Jenkins. Got rid of everybody. Everybody.
What do you mean ripped everything apart?
Everybody that was known as a Grizzly was taken, was traded, was released, was let go because they wanted to start over. And that was the new front office. And I agreed with that because it was needed at that time. That was just 2 years ago. They hired a new coach. The new front office was just put in at the same time. They hired their new coach. So what I'm saying is, everything that's happened in the past has nothing to do with this regime. Nobody is there other than Robert Parra. And Robert Parra just bought the team when Lionel Hollins was here. And had been here. So there's really nobody left in any real power that had anything to do with the past. So what I'm saying is, what we got right now, Taylor Jenkins deserves to not be criticized as far as firing is concerned. I put it that way. He deserves to be criticized, just like every coach deserves to be criticized. But he does not deserve any firing talk because this is a new situation. Everybody is new. The players are new. They're 19, 20 years old. They're the youngest team in the league. And not only that, they're overachieving. Last year, they were supposed to stink. Everybody accepted that they were supposed to be terrible, and they almost made the playoffs. They were one game away from the playoffs last year. This year, we're in the play-in right now. This is the last week of the season. We're just trying to determine what seed we're going to be in and who we're going to play. So for the last 2 years, I know you're not focusing on Jenkins necessarily. I don't even think you're really criticizing Jenkins. I think you're just bringing up the point of the treatment of coaches. But I'm just saying, as far as I think Jenkins deserves some rope because he's overachieved his first 2 years. But it is true that even though none of the front office is there that was there previously, there's clearly a difference when it comes to wanting to be critical of Taylor Jenkins. And even that, the media is the same. I will say that to your point. There's a lot of the same media in different places, and they're not being that critical of Coach Jenkins when I think he should be criticized. So I guess that goes to your point. Why not?
Yeah, but you know what? Because he's white. That's simply the fact. Taylor Jenkins is a white man, and they're not criticizing him because he's white. All of the other coaches that were in here were black, and they couldn't do anything right, regardless of how well they get. And you're talking about Taylor Jenkins won the game from the playoffs or whatever the situation may be. Well, Lionel Hollins, 1 game away from the championship.
Well, I mean, he got a lot more success. I mean, they won and advanced in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's you can't even compare the two situations.
He was the Western Conference Final. I mean, he was ready to go to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
So, and then, you criticize a coach like that and you threaten to fire a coach like that, and then this guy comes on. What I'm saying is all of the black coaches that were there were threatened. Taylor Jenkins come along, I hadn't heard anything, not anything about what they're going to do or Taylor Jenkins being threatened about his job with the Memphis Grizzlies. I have not heard it. And, that has turned me off really from the Grizzlies. It's to really turn me off. It's just not fair. It's just
Well,
not
and
fair.
I don't even think, and I get it, but it's not even.
I don't want them to threaten the guy, but what I'm saying is,
it's not the Grizzlies' fault. Like it's a new regime at this point.
Hello?
Yes, you calling for the show?
Yeah. No, is this Mr. Midget?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Yes
we can
or
get
no?
that later. All right.
Okay, keep talking, John.
All right. Well, that's basically almost all I had to say about that, really. I mean, it's one of those things, and I get where Bob is coming from. I'm not even saying he's wrong necessarily, but it's one of those things, man. I really feel like, one, I don't think Taylor Jenkins should be criticized because I think he shouldn't be threatened for his job because he has done a good job overall. I think the end of this year has been pretty bad. But they're still in the play-in. They just clinched that a couple of days ago. They're finishing the season trying to see who the Grizzlies will play when it comes to the play-in. Will it be the Lakers? Will it be Golden State? Will it be San Antonio? Things of that nature. So one of those things, we'll just have to wait and see, man. But I do think there is some legitimacy to comparing the two situations. And it makes you wonder why. Now, here's a comment here from Jet. And I definitely know we gotta go in a minute.
Yeah,
but
we gotta get out of here in a minute.
Jet says,
what did Jet say?
Had Urban Meyer coached Kaepernick at Florida, he still wouldn't and couldn't hire Cap for any position. No athlete has ever received the opportunities that Tim Tebow has except Jordan. And Jordan had to be the greatest athlete in history to get the opportunity to play minor league baseball with limited experience. Tebow is a bad quarterback and an unproven tight end. Yeah, and I want to talk about that. That's why I say I know it's a lot we're talking about here, but I want to dedicate a little more time to that and actually, get some information and talk about it properly. So,
all right. Hey, I tell you what, it has been a wonderful day today on the phone calls and all your conversation with us on different platforms here. And hey, that's going to do it for us today. And thanks to Dustin Starr for joining us today, and looking forward to a great event coming up with wrestling in the Memphis area. All right. Hey, thanks for your phone calls and your comments. And we'll talk to you next time for another edition of Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. Have a wonderful day today.